Hello, Team Synergy. How are you all today? I'm so grateful you guys took the time to be here today. We have a 15-star rock star coach, leader, mentor, friend of mine, Julie Boris, here to get us inspired for the month of August coming up right after our Super Saturday. So I wanted to thank you so much, Julie, for taking the time to talk to my team for a couple minutes. We'll take all of your wisdom and words to heart. So take it away, Julie.
Well, thank you for having me. And it's so nice that you all showed up at noon on a Wednesday on a summer day. So kudos to you for being here. And we'll try to keep this, as Shalene says, brief, bright, and be on our way. And I'll give you some tips. Our team has been on a little bit of a journey for the past year. And through that journey, I've learned a lot about myself. We've all learned a lot about our team. And I think it's really important as we learn those people to continue to share them, because we all really are in this together, and we are all the same person, for lack of a better word. We all can do this business, and there's no one who's more capable or more skilled or better at it than someone else. The people that have decided to build the business have done just that. They just decided to do it, and then they've aligned their behaviors and their habits with that decision. And that's it, because no one grows up saying they want to be a Beachbody coach and goes to college to learn how to be a Beachbody coach and acquires all these skills to be a Beachbody coach. So we come into this business, a lot of us with the same skills and the same behaviors and the same actions, but the ones who truly decide they want to build are those ones who decide. And then they align their actions and their behaviors with that decision, and then they move forward. People, when you think of Melanie Mitra, who's the top coach right now, she'll be the first one to tell you too, she's a stay-at-home mom of 2 boys, and she doesn't have any more special skills than the rest of us. She's just decided to build leaders on her team and then aligns everything else with that decision. So if you come into this business with that mindset, I think that really helps us all understand we're all on the same playing field. And in a microcosm, think of what's going to happen Saturday morning, August 1st. Every one of us is going to wake up on Saturday morning, August 1st, no matter how long we've been in the business or how not long we've been in the business. We're going to wake up, and in our Coach Online office, it's going to say Success Club 0. Every single one of us. And I think that reflects the business as a whole, because we all come in it the same place. We all have a level playing field, and we all have the opportunity and the potential to build an amazing business. We just have to decide that that's what we're going to do. Just like we have to decide every single month on day one that we are going to hit Success Club, we have to decide that we're going to build an amazing business. Last year, I had a couple conversations that were pivotal in my life, and I'll share those with you, because I learned through those conversations that if someone is telling you something over and over and over again, it's a good idea to listen to them, because it's probably something that you need to do. So if you are listening and hearing the same pieces of advice over and over, if your upline coach or your spouse or your success partner or your mentor is telling you the same things over and over and over again, that means you need to do them. And one of my most pivotal conversations was with Jeremy Red, who is my corporate one of my corporate mentors now. And he had told me for about 2 years that I needed to do a home workout program. And Sandra's been on our team forever, and she knows I fought that for a long time, because I'm a fitness instructor and I'm a master trainer. And I would pick and choose some of the home workouts, but I never did day 1 to day 21, 30, 60, 90, whatever it might have been, until last summer when PiYo was released. Now, to give you some context, I've been doing PiYo since PiYo Lesson 1. I have PiYo Lesson 1 on VHS. So I know that program. I've been with it since the evolution of that program. I've seen it grow. But when it came out as a home workout, I thought, all right, Jeremy's been telling me this for a long time, that I need to commit to a home workout program. I teach a lot of classes. I do a lot of master trainings. I can do PiYo. I can fit PiYo in my life without stressing out my body or it being so hard that I can't do it. I can do that. So right away, I had already been putting up kind of a wall and not trusting myself and not believing in my own strength that I could do a home workout in addition to my other stuff. PiYo comes out. all right, I'm going to do PiYo. I'm going to commit to PiYo. Last summer, PiYo was the very first Beachbody home workout program that I completed day 1 to day 60. The very first. And I have been a coach 6 years at that point. It was the very first one. That process became one of the catalysts for our team to move forward, because through that process, I got better. I continued to build some of the habits that are needed to build a business. If I had not done that PiYo home workout and kind of set myself up to understand how crucial that was in our business, I wouldn't have been in the place in my head that I was when Max 30 came out. And when Insanity Max 30 came out and I had the opportunity to be a part of that Coach Test group, that program changed my life. It changed my life. Subsequently, it changed our business, because you cannot change your business unless you change your life. You cannot ever grow professionally unless you grow personally. I would not have been ready for Max 30 had I not committed to PiYo. I would not have been ready for PiYo had I not finally listened to the piece of advice that Jeremy Redd had been telling me for 2 years. 2 years. That's 2 years of wasted time. So I'm telling you right now, don't be me. Do not be me. If someone is telling you advice and you've been hearing it from people and you're hearing that same piece of advice, stop fighting it and embrace it and do it, because you're putting your energy in the wrong space if you're not taking that advice. If you're hearing the same stuff, that means you have to do it. Once I listened to him, committed to PiYo, I was ready for Max 30. That's the program that changed my life and changed my business. That's the program that did it. The home workout program, the thing that I had been being told to do for 2 years, that was the piece that did it, that one conversation. So now think about all the conversations that you have or could have throughout the course of your day, your week, your month. And we know that as coaches, we hear a lot about fear and not being confident enough to talk to people, not wanting to have those conversations. If Jeremy hadn't had that conversation with me, I wouldn't be in the place that I am in my head, and my team, our team, would not be in the place where we are now either, because of that conversation and because I listened to him in that conversation. Think about all the conversations that you might have, could have, should have throughout your day, and the power that those conversations might have, not just on you, but on the people with whom you're talking. You have the ability to change someone's life with a conversation. I'm walking, talking proof of it. All of you are walking, talking proof of it, because someone had a conversation with you and shared Beachbody with you, and your life is different now. So how can we not have those same conversations with people? Because can you imagine your life without Beachbody? I cannot. And it's, when I think about it, it's horrifying to me. And that sounds dramatic, but I cannot imagine our life without Beachbody in it at all. And not just, financially, but my team and my friends, my team who is my friends and my family, and the community and the spirit and the positivity and the personal development, all that has happened in our lives because of Beachbody, to not have that, I can't imagine that. And that came from a conversation. And the personal growth and professional growth that's happened over the last year came from a conversation. So think about that as you're letting your fear sometimes take over, that those conversations, you have the power to change someone's life. I also had another conversation last year, and I just went out on a limb. My dad always told me that the answer is always no unless you ask. So I decided to ask Jeff Hill, our corporate senior vice president, if he would consider doing some mentoring with me. I needed someone who was not my upline coach. Some of you know my direct upline coach is Christine Dwyer. Well, Christine Dwyer has built 2 15-star diamond businesses, and I have no doubt is well on her way to building a third. And she is, very type A and very driven. And here I am. Hi, I'm a 9-star diamond coach. Could you please help me? It felt a little like it was just worlds away, even though she's a dear friend and she's my coach. It felt like worlds away. So I wanted a mentor who might have a little more objective perspective, someone who's a little bit more removed, and someone who I didn't have a very deep friendship with. Someone I saw more as a professional relationship. So I asked Jeff Hill if he would consider mentoring me on a semi-regular basis. Could I send him my goals, my thoughts, and we segued from kind of an email conversation into, I have a Zoom call with him in a little bit today now. And I gave him permission, and he had earned the right over our conversations we had to ask me really tough, challenging questions. And then I had to kind of figure out the answers. And those are crucial conversations if we want personal growth. And remember, we can't have professional growth without personal growth. So if you don't have a mentor or a success partner or someone to whom you've given permission to ask tough questions, and I don't think it can be your spouse, because your spouse thinks you rock anyway. They already think you're amazing. They don't see where you need to grow. Even though they might support your goals fully and help you and totally be on board, it's a different relationship. And sometimes they don't want to say that hard stuff because they love you and they just don't see it. You need someone who's unafraid to ask those questions. And then you, in your own headspace, have to be willing to answer those tough questions. And it started to become a little bit of a perfect storm in what was going on in my head. I had done the PiYo workout, so I was seeing the benefit of the home workout. I was doing Max 30, so every morning at 5:30 in the morning, and those of you that have done Max 30 know, I feel like Shaun T should send me a cut of the profits from Max 30 because I talk about it all the time because it's so life-changing. Every morning at 5:30 in the morning, I'm in my basement listening to Shaun T telling me to trust and believe, and that yes, I could do it. And by golly, I thought if I can do a burpee lunge at 5:30 a.m., I can do anything else the rest of the day. And everything he was saying to me, I was internalizing, not just for me, but then how can I take that to my team? Every single day, everything he said was like, he was saying on his DVD, Julie, I'm talking to you. And I was taking that in and I was sharing that with my team. And all of that was fuel for us. And then I've got Jeff Hill asking me these tough questions and having to try to figure out some of this stuff. And all this stuff is swirling inside of me. And it became this perfect storm where we created so much momentum on our team that we all came along. Because here's the deal. I'm not a 15-star diamond coach. You're not a 2-star diamond coach. You're not a 5-star diamond coach. You're not a 1-star diamond coach. You're not a diamond coach. You have a team. You're a 2-star team. You're a 5-star team. You're an elite team. You're a 3-star team. Whatever it is, that is your team. That has nothing to do with you except how you are leading them. It's not you are so-and-so diamond, whatever. You are part of a team. But your team can only go as far as you're willing to lead them. So if you are keeping the lid down on you, you're keeping the lid down on your team. If you have been stuck for a while, and I'm telling you this from experience because I was stuck. If you have been stuck for a while, I've got 5 points to share with you that I hope will get you unstuck. You got a piece of paper? You ready to write them down? These are my 5 points that I think are key to getting unstuck. And number one, and Sandra's heard me say this a million times, I think I had a little moment, it was probably a couple months ago when someone asked, I don't know who it was in our team page, or in our Star Diamond page, asked about being coachable or something. I'm like, give me the video. Let's go. I had a little throwdown on the video because my number one point is you have to be coachable. You have to be coachable. And I'm telling you right now that most people think that they are and they're not. And I was there. I thought I was pretty coachable, and I was not. If I had been coachable, would I have listened to the same piece of advice for 2 years and not taken it? No, that's the epitome of not being coachable. That's why I keep saying if someone's telling you the same piece of advice over and over again and you're not listening to it, that's not being coachable. You have to be coachable. That means you have to listen to the stuff that's going on and then kind of figure out how it can work for you. An example was I knew I needed to do getting started right calls. I knew I needed to do them. I don't love getting started right calls because I come from a group fitness background. I love this. I love a group. I love the energy of people. If I wanted to just work one-on-one, I would have been a personal trainer. So getting started right calls were kind of like, to me, I needed more energy. So I thought, I'm listening to these people tell me I have to do a getting started right call. I have to be coachable. I have to do this. How can I make this work for me? I know. I could do a Zoom call, and maybe I have 3 or 4 or 5 coaches who all came in this week or the last week. I'm going to do a Zoom call with all of them. We're going to do a Getting Started Right together as a community. So I took the concept and made it work for me, rather than saying, I just don't do that, because that's not being coachable. You have to figure out a way to make the processes feel right to you. And if someone's telling you the same thing over and over again, what do you have to do? You have to do it. You have to be coachable. You have to be open. You all have a team. You know that you've probably had conversations with your coaches like, well, have you tried doing this? Have you thought about this? And immediately you see them go, oh, well, I can't do that. They've immediately shut you down, put up their wall, and have become uncoachable. Now think about that with yourself. Do you ever say, when someone gives you an idea or a concept or a piece of advice, do you ever say, that won't work for me? Or I can't do that? Or I have too much going on with my kids? Or I don't want to work the business that much. Because immediately when you start saying that stuff, you're not coachable. You're just not. It's just a fact. What you have to do is take all that stuff in and think, how can I make this work for me? That's being coachable. How can I tweak and recalibrate and adjust the process to work for me? And when I started doing that, then my business changed. When I stopped fighting the stuff that needed to be done and instead put my energy towards figuring out a way to make it work in my life that was right for me, then my business changed. So that's number 1, be coachable. Number 2, you need to collaborate. And by that, I mean you've got to work together. Sandra knows, she probably got so sick of hearing me say it over and over again, rising tides lift all ships. I am a huge believer that everyone's success contributes to everyone's success. And the more we share and work together, the more success we will all see. And how cool is it to go onto your team page and start seeing everyone sharing their challenger success, their rank advancements, their success starters, their folks earning calls with Carl. Because now as new coaches come into that team page and new coaches come into your team, they start going, oh, well, this is just what we do. We advance to Emerald. We hit success starters. Because everyone is sharing their momentum. You know, being a Team Beachbody coach reminds me a little bit of when I taught high school, because we all went into the same building, and then we go into our little classroom and we wouldn't see anybody else the rest of the day. There was no collaboration unless you deliberately walk down the hallway to talk to other teachers. That's what we have to do. We have to walk out in the hallway and talk to other coaches. We have to walk out in the hallway and say, hey, who wants to run a size challenge group with me? Let's do it together, because that'll be a whole lot more fun. Who has some coaches that need to go through Coach Basics? Because I know that we need to be running Coach Basics on a regular basis. I'd like to do that with someone else. I'd like to collaborate. Collaboration and working together will change your business. We are not on islands. We're not in business by ourselves. There's a reason why it's called Team Beachbody and not Sandra Beachbody or Julie Beachbody. It's called Team Beachbody because we need to collaborate and come together. And everyone has unique gifts and strengths. And when we collaborate and work together, we get to capitalize on those unique gifts and strengths. If I was going to run a nutrition group, you know who the first person I would go to? Sandra, because she likes to cook and I hate it. So I would go to her because that's her strength and I would utilize her. I only know that if I'm working with her together. I only know that April Keever is an amazing resource for Pinterest because I work with her and I collaborate. So I might have coaches that come on that want to know about nutrition, that want to know about Pinterest. Why would I ever think that I have all the answers? I will never have all the answers. And the more we collaborate and the more we work together, the stronger we all are and the more momentum we create in the team. And that's what we want. So number 3, differentiate yourself. Think about your story and what makes your story different than everyone else's. Because we all have a story, and for a lot of us, it all is based in health and fitness. So what about your story, your journey, your processes, your memories, your experiences? What about you makes you different? It is perfectly okay to be inspired by someone else's story. It is so not okay to copy someone else's story. You have a story that is uniquely you. And there are people out there who want your story, not an imitation story, not a copy of someone else's. They want your story. I remember when early in my coaching journey, when our team was just forming, we had to travel everywhere. There were no events in Indiana. We had to travel. And one of the events we went to was in Columbus, Ohio. And it was a Saturday event. So it was not a Super Saturday because we didn't have that then. I think it was called Game Plan then. And on the Friday night before, there was lots of us, probably 30 coaches sitting around this fire outside the hotel. And Arnold Nakaha was there, and Tommy Migrant was leading the event the next day. And everyone was going around the circle talking about their story. And at that point, remember, it's early in Beachbody. So everyone's story revolved around P90X, which was awesome, except I didn't do P90X. I was a turbo girl. So everyone is going around and they're talking about it. I've lost 50 pounds of P90X. I lost 100 pounds of P90X. I lost this, and they're crying and they're telling these amazing stories. And I can sit right here and vividly remember. I remember turning to Arnold and going, I don't have a story. And when it came time for me to talk, I just passed. And I said, I don't have a story. I had a story. You have a story. And it's different from everyone else's. My story just wasn't P90X. I just didn't know my story yet. And here's the cool part. Our story is in process. Where our story is right now, it's nowhere from being finished. And there's lots of people who want to join your story where it is right now and continue walking it with you. So you have to figure out what makes your story a little bit different. And then you have to be willing to share that story. You have to be willing to share that story. There are fitness instructors out there who understand what it's like to make $11 an hour at the YMCA and wish that they could create some kind of income to put their kids through college. And it ain't happening being a fitness instructor. Guess what? That's my story too, and I can relate to them. There are busy moms out there with husbands who have time-consuming jobs who are trying to make fitness, an integral part of their life, and they don't know how to do it. That's my story too. So I relate to them. We all have different pieces of our story, and those pieces are different than other people's stories. So allow yourself to be inspired by stories, and then be willing to dig deep enough to find your story and the different pieces of it. And all those different pieces will relate to different people. And then you got to be willing to share it. So that's number 3. Number 4, you have the power to inspire people right now. In this business, we put so much emphasis on rank advancements and building these great businesses. And, every single business has to have some kind of parameter, has to have some kind of tangible system of measurements. And so for Beachbody, it happens to be rank advancement, and that's fine. But we put a lot of emphasis on that, and sometimes we get caught up in that and think that we can't inspire people unless we are a Christine Dwyer with 2 15-star businesses, or a Melanie Mitro with 2, or a Janelle Summers with 3, and that is not true. Over Memorial Day weekend, my middle daughter and I went to New York City, and she is a serious ballerina. And we went to see, and if you were at Summit, I told the story at the end, we went to see New York City Ballet and American Ballet Theater. And when we were done, we walked backstage or off, by the stage door, and she wanted to get their autographs. And she did. She got their autographs and their pictures, and it was a really cool experience. And she is so inspired by these dancers who are dancing for New York City Ballet and American Ballet Theater, literally the 2 best companies in the country. She's so inspired by them. But when we got in the car, I said, Josie, you need to remember that I have a class member who takes my classes at the Fishers YMCA, whose 8-year-old daughter saw you dance at the Nutcracker and then did her class project on you about work ethic because she was so inspired by you. So you don't have to be a prima ballerina for the New York City Ballet to inspire someone. You might be a 16-year-old high school girl inspiring an 8-year-old. You can do that too. You have that power. And the cool thing is when you embrace that and own it, and I don't mean be cocky about it. I mean just own the fact that you can inspire someone on a daily basis. Your mindset changes, and you will see that even in your social media shares. Because let me tell you, nobody cares if you have a headache. Nobody cares if you had an argument with your husband, you got stopped for a speeding ticket. And, you know, my little mini golden doodle is super, super cute right now after her bath. Nobody cares about that. I'm not putting that on social media. Nobody cares. People want to be inspired. They want to be lifted up. They want to be encouraged. That's what they want. They want to laugh too, so it's okay to have some humorous stuff out there. But you have the power to inspire people every single day with this business, with who you are and what you're doing. So many people are trying to figure out the health and fitness puzzle, and you're doing it. And you have the power to inspire someone with that. Own that. Embrace that. Don't take it lightly, but know that you do not have to have some gazillion star business to inspire people. You're inspiring people every day, and you don't even know it. Josie didn't even know it. You don't even know it, but you are. So you need to embrace that and own it and take responsibility for it, and don't take it lightly. And so everything you're doing with the understanding that, you know what, this might inspire someone today. That's really cool. And then number 5, you need to empower your team. And this is something I've work really hard on, and I've been working harder on too, in that we're trying to create a team that if we walk away from it, it just continues to go. And my husband and I talk about this a lot because my husband's the head football coach at Butler University, and we talk about coaching in general, and he talks about practice, and you know, our players are about to come in and start 2-a-days again, and we talk about empowering your team. And frankly, whether he's on the field or not, shouldn't matter for how practice runs if he's done his job. Shouldn't matter, because his assistant coaches and the players should be running practice the way that it should be run, because he's empowered them to do that. So how do you empower your team? Ask them to help you run Coach Basics. Spotlight them with different posts on your team page. Ask him to do the sneak peeks. Ask him to do the coach opportunity webinars. Whatever you have going on your team, it is not about giving up your power. It is about empowering your team so they get stronger and everybody gets stronger together. And I think that's a struggle sometimes and we're all girls here on the call, I think it's a struggle sometimes for females to really embrace, you know, that cliche that lighting someone else's candle doesn't burn out your own. And that's true. And it's sometimes it's harder, I think, for females to really embrace that than it is for males. But the more we empower our team and help them understand what amazing potential they each have individually and the gifts and assets they can bring to our team as a whole, the stronger the entire team is. Because you are not your team. The team is the team. And the more leaders you have on that team, the stronger your team as a whole, the more community it feels like, and the more family it feels like. You want to walk in, like my new coaches said when they went to Summit, it felt like it was a family reunion because everyone got us. That's what you want to feel like with your team, because you have so many amazing leaders on your team and you're highlighting them and everyone's working together and your team's just chugging along, moving forward like a train on the tracks because you've empowered them. But if you're doing it all, then it's all on you. And quite frankly, that is the quickest way to burn out as a coach. It's the quickest way to burn out. There's only so many strengths that you each have. But when we bring other people on with different strengths, we have a much better team. So we want to never create limits for ourselves. We always want to create opportunities. We don't want to create limits. And that happens in our head. We don't want to create limits. We want to create opportunities. We have to change our mindset. This is where the business begins. You can work out all day long. You can drink your Shakeology every day, and that's all an important part of the business. But the reason why personal development is one of the 3 vital behaviors is because this is where the business is built, here and in your heart. These 2 places, this is where the business is built. And if you will let this business in your heart, I'm telling you, it will change your life in more ways than you can even imagine. Ways that you don't even know how right now. You can't even fathom how it can change your life if you let it in. But as long as you are putting up walls and saying, well, I can't do this, and well, she can do it because of that, or he can do it because of that, or that won't work for me, and you're not coachable, as long as you're not working with your cross lines, your other leaders on your team, and you're not being collaborative, as long as you're not empowering your team or not inspiring them, not owning that, then you will stay right where you are. But when you start to implement some of this, I guarantee you, if you will go all in this business, it will change your life. truly in ways that you cannot even imagine. And I think that's the coolest part of it, is that there are so many ways it can change our life, and we don't even know about it yet. And what an amazing ride that is. That makes a pretty cool ride for a life. So those are my 5 tips for you. If you have questions for me, I would be glad to stay on and answer them.
I just want to say something really fast. Thank you so much for all those tidbits. I took tons of notes, and sometimes I feel like you're talking just to me and nobody else is around. But one thing that you said that really hit me and makes me think, I'm slow at being coachable, and I had a lot of those excuses. And I remember when we first started this journey with you, you would do all of it, and we were letting you do it all, and you were like, you need to do your own Zoom calls. You need to do. I'm like, oh gosh, no, I don't even know what to say. I'm not gonna do it. You do a good job. If you're not doing it, then forget it. And it wasn't until I finally said, well, screw it. Even if it's just Diane and I will talk together. And we started like that. And we had more people with us this year, and more people are trusting us. And I'm feeling like I don't have any answers, but it's okay that I don't. Let's just still do it together. We'll help each other. I'm not the expert. You guys are great at the things that I suck at. Right. So let's just help each other. And that mindset shift in me took me just a lot longer than other people. Mm-hmm. And it's surrounding myself with people like Diane and Amy who really believe in this company and are willing to work together as a team that I feel so blessed for. Besides, of course, all of Team Sparta and all those leaders. But for a long time, Julie will run it. We'll just use Julie. Right. That's how we felt. So thank you for that and allowing me the time to come to my own. And I will get there. I just might be slower than some others.
You're like my husband. I always say he's not a first responder. It takes him a little bit longer. But I think that the sooner that we can embrace that, and I do truly believe it's a little bit of a female thing, just because we tend to be in our roles, in our homes, in our family lives too. We just get it done. We just get the stuff done. We just do it. So that will tend to transfer over into every other aspect of our life. So it can be challenging then to pull back a little bit from that and realize, guess what? Other people can do it too. And, as Chalene has always said, most of the time they do it better than we do too. Chalene thought she had to mix all the music for Turbo Kick and Payo for years. And I remember her transition going through and and letting that go and giving that up. And strangely enough, the music was just fine. So some of that stuff really is our ego getting in the way, and it's getting in the way of our growth. That's what our ego does. It gets in the way of our growth. So if we can work hard to always kind of battle that back and step back and let other people have their turns and let them shine, then our team is stronger. And I think at the same time, it takes a real understanding too of what everyone's gifts are. Not everyone has the same gifts, and to not utilize everyone's gifts on the team is a disservice. If I wanted something beautifully written for our team, I would probably go to Jenny Swisher. She's a writing major. So why would I not use her gift? It would be 100,000 times better than anything that I could ever come up with, So it's really knowing your team and knowing each person's gifts, and then challenging them to get out of their comfort zone a little bit, because hosting a Zoom call might have been uncomfortable, but it's made you a better coach. So that gift might grow, and embracing each person's gifts and then getting just a little bit uncomfortable. That's the key to growth. We got to get our ego out of the way.
It's the uncomfortable part and feeling fear of failure. Like you're going to suck at it. Like I stopped doing translations because I feel like I suck at it now. And my husband's telling me all the time, you're better than a lot of the people that can't even speak Spanish. Right. But I don't do it because I don't feel I'm good enough at it. And that's a disservice to myself and my team if I do that.
Right.
Anybody else have questions?
Just thanks for letting me in and peek in.
Sure. Nice to have you, Rosie. Anybody else?
Julie, I have a question. So I've been on the team for 4 years now, and it seems like in the past 2 years, I know you've grown a lot, and it seems like some of those newer coaches, they join and they hit the ground running. What do you feel like it's more that there's systems in place that's helping them progress so much? Is it the type of people that are joining? What do you think that
Yes to both.
Is.
I think yes to both. For me personally, I have a better system in place for my coaches. Coach Basics was huge for me. And I don't know if you are utilizing that, like, and I don't mean you, I mean like as a team. I don't know if we're utilizing that, but that's a game changer, because I don't know about all of you, but there's a lot of my coaching journey that I've kind of walked around like, not really sure what I'm doing. Don't really know what I'm doing. Don't really know what I should do next. And when Coach Basics came out, it was like, oh, the heavens opened up and I had a template of what I could do. Now, prior to that, did I know what I should tell my coaches? Probably, but I just didn't trust myself. I just didn't trust myself. And that is a sad disservice to us as well. We need to trust ourselves more and believe in what we have to offer more. But when Coach Basics came out, that gave me a template. So I did a better job training my newer coaches. Well, that's been out now for a while. So I think that as new coaches come in, the system is in place that we get them into a Coach Basics, and it gives them that strong foundation off the bat. We're talking about Success Starters right away. We're talking about Success Club. We're talking about all this stuff that before we might not have gotten to until a little bit later. I think it also helps when we have that system in place. It helps us sort the ones who truly want to work the business and the ones who don't. So now we're more appropriately putting our energy with those ones who do want to work the business, and you're seeing them take off rather than spending so much time trying to figure out who wants to do it. So I think the systems in place are helping us train and sort more easily and then help those ones who want to build. And I think as our team continues to grow and gain strength, every coach on it is just getting better and naturally recruiting better coaches in general. We're recruiting better coaches in general because Beachbody itself is growing. There are more and more success stories. You see more and more people doing well and having success with some aspect of it. When you say Beachbody now, as opposed to 4 years ago, more people know what you're talking about. There are more success stories out there. So you're starting to attract a little better quality coach, I think. You know, you get the people that come in and are like, oh, I came to the PiYo Challenge Group and PiYo changed my life, so I'm going to share this with everyone else. And now I'm going to have 10 Success Club points right off the bat, and I'm just going to get coach, you know, and they're coming into really a better system than, you know, you and I did 3, 4, 7 years ago. So I think there's a couple things that are contributing to it. The systems are better. I think we are better. And I think that with a little bit of success, you get a little more confident. And I'm pretty confident in being able to say, I don't know all the answers. And I'm also pretty confident now in that I can give people answers that I think will help them. And so then I have more success with my newer coaches because it's kind of a circle. The success breeds the confidence, which continues to breed the success, which continues to bring the confidence. But we really do have to trust ourselves more and then plug into the systems that are in our Coach Online office, because that will help us with confidence, and that will help when they start to see results, then they trust you more and the whole system continues to build. So I don't know if that answers your question. I think it's kind of a vague, I kind of walked around the question, but I think that there are a lot of factors that are going into quick growth. I'm not a huge fan. I call them quick builders. I'm not a huge fan of quick builders because I would rather see someone's leadership ability match their growth. There are people who plug into those systems so quickly and build so quickly that they find themselves to be a 10-star diamond, but they're not a 10-star diamond leader. And now what do you do? Because now all of a sudden you're in the and I was just having this conversation with Jenny Swisher. She and I were talking about leadership and, because she just turned 5-star. And I said, you find yourself in the Elite Coach Facebook group where 5 stars and above are in there, and you see these people talking about team retreats and all this kind of stuff. And if you are not ready to lead a team higher than where you are right now, you're looking at all this stuff going, oh my gosh, am I supposed to be doing this? Am I supposed to be doing this? Am I supposed to be doing this? If you just build consistently with depth and build solid, your leadership will continue to match your rank advancement. You don't want to be a 9-star, 10-star diamond coach, but a 3-star leader. Because what do you do with these people? Now you're not serving them to the best of your ability. You want your leadership you want The reason why your team is growing is because your leadership is growing, and that's why it's growing, so that your leadership and your rank advancement match. Because, you know, you could look all through the business and find people that are high-ranking coaches that are not good leaders. On our team, let's be the ones whose leadership and rank match, so that you feel comfortable and confident and strong, that when you hit 5-star, you're like, yeah, these are my people, and I can rock this team, and we're ready to go even further, because that's where your leadership is. You don't want to have a 5-star diamond team and be a 1-star leader. What do you do with them? Because then you will be limiting your growth. You want everything to flow together. It's exactly why our team didn't advance 3 years ago, because they were waiting on me to get better. I had to get better for us to go any further. I was limiting us. I was putting the lid on it. So until I figured that out and changed here, we weren't going to go anywhere. I want my leadership to match my rank advancement. Anything else? Team Cup, Team Cup, Team Cup, Team Cup.
Yes, we're excited. We have 4 teams. That's, I think, the most we've ever had. So yay!
Yay! Yay! Set your Success Club point goals. Make sure you put out your goals.
I posted that today, and I'm the only one I think that responded.
We have our Team Cup call a little later this afternoon too. So I kind of threw out a number earlier. I'm not the captain, but I threw out a little number earlier, and then I went, what? And I'm like, come on, let's go, saddle up. So
yeah, we'll see. Well, thanks again. Really appreciate your time, and
my pleasure.
love all your energy. Talk to you soon.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.